Start up.
Yeah, these new ones are so good.
There you go. Welcome to the Drip to Heaven podcast. You feel me? We got a number of controversy ass takes. I almost stuttered so bad. We got a number of good anime quality news. Today I got the youngest of the youngest. I got Turtle with us, Mister they them, because you can't call him he because the niggas above the third eye. Just to let y'all know. We have motherfucking Karma. You already know what goes around comes around.
Yes, sir.
And today he is the 12th Hokage because the nigga like to time travel a little bit. And
yeah. Why you get a cold ass intro and I'm non-binary, bro? Can I get some? Can I get something cold?
All right, I'm gonna come back to you. Hold on.
Oh,
brother. Then we got motherfucking Meech. You feel me, Mr. Gamma One himself, Super Saiyan God. You already know the nigga could be out of space now. He's chilling with the flies drip. He went from gold to rose gold. The nigga used to have silver, but he said he wasn't feeling it. Back to Turtle since he wanted a new intro. He's not Turtle no more. This is Arachnid whore. They deal with the 8 legs.
You know what? Stick with the non-binary. Just stick with the non-binary. I don't. Just...
All right.
He thought he was gonna get gassed up.
This is so
sad.
This is some bullshit.
The first topic is, and I don't care who go. I'm gonna just talk last on it. Do y'all feel like plot convenience fuck up a story?
Depends on, like, okay, plot convenience. It can like make or break your story, but I feel like it's the way the writer uses that said plot convenience. If the explanation isn't like something reasonable, then it's just like, all right, bro, you just kind of pulled that out your ass, or you was just kind of like backed into a corner. You just had to throw something on the wall to see if it would stick with the fans. I mean, like all forms of media, they have, no matter how great we praise our stories, there's gonna be some type of plot convenience, whether it's minor or major. No story's perfect. Let's get that out of the way first and foremost. But like, it's just how it's executed. The execution, to me, outweighs like the convenience itself, in a sense where, like, if you establish this shit, like, maybe, like, say something was established like chapter 1 and it did set the foundation of the story or set the foundation of a certain ability, right? Then we're in like chapter 520 something, where that thing that was established at chapter 1 is used at that particular moment, and it's been built up for that. Okay, I can let it slide, you know what I'm saying? But if you just like, okay, chapter 1, this right here, out of nowhere, right? This thing is explained right here. And in that same chapter, or like, no. In that, in chapter 1, it's explained, but we never hear about it again, like throughout the story. Then out of nowhere, in this 500 something chapters later, that one point that you used to set your foundation, just conveniently used for this particular moment. It's kind of like, okay, you established it, but like, where the fuck was that throughout the whole story? I feel like that's where it would be like, kind of, all right, my boy, you kind of backed yourself into a corner. You just using this for this one convenient moment and never going to use it again. That's how I feel on it personally. So it just depends on the execution for me. Now, does it make or break the series? It depends on who you ask. Like, if you're if you're like a casual fan of the series, it's like, okay. But if you're like a hardcore fan of like something and you're just like, no, this is some bullshit. Like, no, this is ass. And it's just like, damn, bro. Because like, for me, I don't care. Personally, if it's plot convenience, okay, cool. It's not going to turn me away from the series forever from this point on. But it's just going to be like, okay, this was a little smudge in the road, but we just going to have to get past it. It's not like with me, like, oh, this shit was ass. I'm done dropping the series, burning my manga panels, comic books, all that. Nah, that's OD.
Yeah.
That's wild. But it just depends on the individual for me personally, and
It
that's
depends.
how I feel about it personally.
All right. What about you, Turtle?
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, it's
You
on
said, yeah, bro, shut your ass up. But I would say I
you.
agree with Mitch for the most part. Because as he stated, and I'm pretty sure most of us are aware of this, almost every piece of media has plot convenience. That's how you make a story happen. Just like certain things have to be in the right place at the right time for the story to continue. That's kind of not a rule, but it's something that's going to appear in more or less every story or piece of media you ingest. And I also feel like it's about excessiveness and egregiousness. Because if you want to say, oh, these two people happen to meet in the same place at the same time and they start a fight, I'm like, cool, whatever. Like it's convenient, but it works towards the story. There's nothing like outlandish about it. But of course, you can bring up points where it's like, oh, this character was about to die, but they just so happen to stumble upon some kind of ancient god deity curse shit and won the fight. It's like, that's some bullshit. But it really does depend on like egregiousness or like severity. So yeah, I'd say I agree with what Meech is saying. If done correctly, you really won't even notice it. But if done like stupidly, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck am I looking at?"
Yeah. Basically, yeah, I have very similar feelings in all honesty. Uh, levels of severity definitely does matter. Levels of consistency also matters. Levels of fallacious mindsets also does matter. But I feel like, in a way, every story kind of needs this sense of convenience in order to transition the plot, similar to what Meech and Turtle already kind of said. Uh, Now, do I think it makes or breaks a show? Uh, I guess that honestly depends on how impactful that moment is, right? Because we have to think about it, right? A convenience is just one singular like concept within a moment, right? So like you could say uh somebody convenient like somebody can just conveniently show up that you need them to show up in a story, right? Like it's one singular point within a moment. So like I feel like the moment itself and how impactful the moment is to the overall majority of the show, that is what matters the most, right? It's the why, not necessarily the what. So I feel like that really is all it comes down to, right? How it really interacts with character arcs, how it interacts with the linear plot line, how it interacts with parallels, how it interacts with the themes of the story. Does it contradict the themes of the story? And if so, is it on purpose? Things like that also needs to be questioned when talking about these things, for the most part.
Okay. Okay, so I got one question, right?
Mm-hmm.
For everybody. How, if you know, then you know. But how did if you ever seen Fairy Tale with the Urza scene with the fucking meteorite?
Yeah. I have not seen
I
Fairy Tail,
heard
so I
about
can't.
that scene. I heard like that was something that was really something
Uh,
polarizing in the community. Like niggas wasn't really rocking with that.
I mean, as somebody who's read it, I feel like a lot of the cases people are like kind of mad at that for the wrong reasons. I'd say, like, so basically the whole gist, right, is that like a good majority of her bones were broken, right? But
Like fully broken.
yeah, that was the thing, right? But like the whole gist of it is that making do with what you have, right? So as shown in BS as this might sound, right? Her left arm wasn't damaged.
Yeah,
Hold on, 1 second.
it's fine.
But yeah, sorry about that. Uh,
This team I'm playing with is so fucking ass on Destiny. Um, so Mish, just to catch you up to it, right? Basically, it was a dope scene. I liked it, but I felt like the shit was just too convenient. Like somebody else could have came in and really like did that job.
I don't know. I feel like who else would? And that's like kind of the deal, right? It's like one of those cases where I feel like Mashima kind of did write himself into a corner,
Yeah,
but like I feel like
with that.
he had with that per se, but I feel like he handled that corner like better than most. Uh, he implemented a law that just physically made sense, which is reinforcing your body with magic, right? And that's basically
Yeah,
what Urza did. She actually reinforced her power. It's not like she just got up and said, "Oh yeah, well I'm about to," like none of that. Like no, she was in a life or death situation, right? She has great magic control. That's something that was set up since the very beginning of the show. So he's already taking things that are already implemented and already asserted, and he's just using that in this moment to make sense of it.
yeah,
That's what a good storyteller is. So she reinforced it, right? And then she focused all her magic power in like the things like the weakest point of the meteor, and then literally blew up the meteor. And right after that, she collapsed. Like it took literally everything in her just to do that, right? So it wasn't like you could, I guess you could say it was convenient, but I feel like in this case that convenience was handled correctly, right? Kind of what I was saying earlier. Like convenience can be a good thing. It just highly depends on the execution and like what's linear to the themes of the story, what makes sense, what makes logical sense. And reinforcement magic is something that is consistent with Urza's character since she was a little kid in slavery. That is her thing.
because when I read it, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, shorty on the ground. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, bro, like somebody gonna either come through and either save her or take care of this fucking meteor. But when I seen
Yeah,
her real deal, like reinforced, and it threw her entire body in the air, I was like, nigga, what the
yeah.
fuck did I just read? I was confused at the moment because I'm like, you're supposed to
Yeah,
be down and
that's
out
what
at
she.
the moment.
Yeah, I just feel like personally, right? I
Yeah,
feel like you don't have to like it. I get it. It's very shonen-y. It's very like I don't know how to explain. It's like cheese ball like kind of behavior. You feel me? Like it's like cheese ball energy. It's very shonen energy, right? But
yeah,
at the end of the day, right? We judge things based off consistency, not what you might just appeal to your emotions with, right? Logical sense matters more, I would say, right? So it's
or
like it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense and it fits. It doesn't contradict anything really. It's really just a matter of like, did you like the decision per se? And if you didn't, that's fine. If you did, I wouldn't really doubt you either. So it just, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just, they really, in a lot of cases with like fairy tales specifically, right?
mhm.
They don't really know what they're talking about. Like I've noticed that a lot. Like people
With
that
what?
quote fairy tales really don't understand what they're talking about. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
never just because, oh well, I slightly like the series or yada yada yada, or you might call me biased for having a certain standpoint, whatever. I really don't care. You can suck my nutsack. But the whole
Shit,
issue
I
of
like
it,
the shit too. I just don't like the fact that the matter is not the
mm,
entire cast get utilized how they should.
mm,
That's
well,
that's just me. You feel me? But at the same
well,
time, it's like
mm-hmm.
when you start naming motherfuckers, it's like, can they really do what this person do, or can they
I,
really bring something to the table like this person could bring something to the table? So I get it why they
well,
single out like they got a specific group of people on that he wanna like focus on, and then everybody else just like fall into place. Like, cause I'm a firm believer that fairy tale female cast is way better than the male cast, like written and lore and power wise,
yeah.
like quite literally.
Well, that depends, but I feel like that's very person to person in fairy tale. But yeah, I get what you're saying though. Like overall though, like I feel like you make a strong point. Um, I just feel like it's just a lot. It's too much inconsistency with people who claim they didn't even read the story, right? And it's just weird because a lot of what they say is logically fallacious, right? It's just like have you even got past like 5 pages of this story to even be criticizing it in the first place? Like that's kind of backwards to me. I don't know. It's like me. You could probably understand that too, right? Like it's like I'm pretty sure you've seen a little bit of Dragon Ball slander, at least a little bit, right? And a lot of
That's
times,
all I see on my CEO. And it'd be people who never even read the series. So it's just like their opinions invalid.
Hey, matter of fact,
yeah,
let me sidetrack real quick, right? Let me ask both of y'all this question. Do y'all feel like Dragon Ball is well written? Because a lot of people don't understand Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I would
okay.
say that Super is significantly less well written, but Dragon Ball and
Here's
Dragon
the
Ball
thing.
Z. Oh,
People, all right, I've said this thing multiple times on like the TO. Niggas think you need a story that is filled with nothing but depression, and the MC has to question life 24/7, like as a PhD in philosophy, in order for it to be a good story. That's not the case, my boy. Like you
Yeah,
can have a simple story about adventure that just transitions as it progresses and still be an amazing story. Like to me, like all biased aside, to me, Dragon Ball is a well written story. I mean,
yeah,
like
yeah, I agree.
you can't really tell Toriyama nothing for real, for real. Like if you look at his work, it's like this nigga's at the
yeah,
top for real, for real.
yeah. Exactly. When you just look at
Like
his body of work,
if you read the original manga from like chapter 1 all the way to the end of the Blue Saga, like
You see a
the
big ass
nigga
transition.
got better, and you can clearly see the transition of where he's going. So it's like
That's a good ass
I said,
transition
people
from Dragon Ball to Z.
like
That's
niggas think
yeah,
that and I remember what was it?
No, all they see is
Uh,
fight, bro. They don't really be paying attention to what the story is trying to say. They just be like, ooh, big color,
I feel
being
as though
class, big
people like to
movie.
pick and choose what stories they think are well written or not because it's the popular thing to do, or like it's the popular thing to hate on like popular shows and say that they're not well written, or like the thing that everybody likes to say, oh, where's the plot? Dragon Ball doesn't have a plot. If it didn't have a plot, then what do you call the progression, the character motivations that they go through this entire series, bro? You don't get a series like that span like 30 plus years and tell me that shit doesn't have a story. That's fucking dumb. That's honestly retarded.
that's just fucking
yeah.
Like
retarded.
that's the
I
worst thing
agree,
you could
man.
ever say. Like
Yeah,
niggas will really sit there and say it doesn't have a plot. Oh, okay, so look, that's the dumbest thing you could ever say, bro. That really just gets on my nerves.
Because
It doesn't have a
That doesn't
hold
even
on,
make sense. Even if a story
it,
has a bad plot, saying it doesn't have a plot is like weird.
the biggest asinine thing in the world, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. That's a bad
listen,
stupidity,
you
bro.
know you want to know what's another thing, bro? Because one of my we cool. If y'all ever see him on fucking the timeline, is RTL Fate, right? I'm a name drop.
Mhm.
Me and him cool. He was like, he don't find. He was like, he hated the fact that androids really came out of nowhere.
What?
Wait, wait,
Androids
wait,
have
wait,
been
wait, wait, wait,
haven't
wait, wait,
androids
wait.
been a
Listen, listen,
thing
listen,
since like
listen.
OG Dragon Ball?
Hold on, hold on, hold on. He don't like how I ain't gonna say out of nowhere, but he don't like how they scale up to like the characters. Because
That's just shonen in
in the
general, bro.
movie,
Yeah, that's like
in
every single character.
but
No matter how
wait.
strong
Listen,
the MC gets, there's always going to be
listen,
someone as strong.
listen. Because his thing was right. It was like, how the fuck the android scale up to this character and they never met this character?
What?
Wait. I'm getting more into it, right? Because in the movie, Gohan, you remember the movie? Gohan said, "Oh, these guys strong as Vegeta and Go. I mean, I said yeah to my dad and Vegeta, and it's like he's saying that because they're strong opponents. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can actually fight Goku and Vegeta.
Well, I
Like
guess I feel.
they're like around that same level of power, and that's just the criticism. That's just not Dragon Ball. That's just shonen in general, bro. Every arc you have to, or every movie they have to bring in a strong opponent. Like that's just
Well,
shonen 101, bro. You can't even complain about that.
I kind of
And
perceive
even with the whole Android thing, I think it's a pretty fair assumption to say that like as far as where Goku and Vegeta were at the beginning of the Cell Saga, the Android 18 and 17 could have very easily taken them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Not very easily, not easily, but they could have taken them, in my opinion.
I mean, the way I perceive that complaint is not necessarily the fact that they did, but it's the how, right? Like I think what Semi is trying to say that this person he like values the why and the how more than the what, right? So it's like, how do you implement such a thing with such loose fitting writing? And if that's the case, then I mean, I guess I could understand that. I think that's a genuine criticism to have within storytelling, right? Just as a whole, like it's not necessarily exempt just because it's a shonen. But however, what I would want to know is that logic consistent with other shonens? If not, then it's mad contradictory
Yeah,
because
it's
this
like
is
a
a
pick
thing
and
that's been
choose.
yeah, like it'll be a pick and choose case. But if that's something that he has a problem with linearly, then I'll be like, okay, then that's a fair actual like mindset to have because that's an actual like that's actually a big problem within storytelling in general, right? It's when you kind of just implement some type of concept that is just well, it like we were talking about earlier, it kind of goes into that concept of convenience, right? And I think this is an example of bad convenience. But at the end of the day, we're willing to look over it because of what they did afterwards. Look at what the androids did, right? Look at what Frieza did. Frieza kind of just was there too when you really think about it, but it really doesn't matter because look at what they did afterwards. Look at Toriyama's body of work. Look at what he did consistently. We're able to overlook these small, minute details because in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter because we're getting good storytelling. We choose as human beings what have more value all the time. like we value more things than others. So it just I guess it just depends. If its logic is consistent, that's
Nah,
all I really
fact.
care about.
Because my biggest thing was right because I listened to my homie podcast the other day, and it was talking about it, and it was like, for one, go on Vegeta shitted on Android 19, right?
Mhm.
Like he
Yeah.
shitted on Android 19. The only reason why 19 even beat Goku is because Goku had heart disease, quote unquote, the heart disease, right?
Yeah.
Nigga, what do you mean, quote unquote? He literally had it.
No, 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 no. No, I'm saying quote unquote because it's like, but the nigga, I ain't even gonna say quote unquote. The nigga had it, but if he didn't have the whole heart disease fucking thing,
Bruh,
he would
diabetes.
he would have beat fucking 19 ass like no problem.
Yeah.
Man,
You feel me? My thing is that 19 got shitted on by Vegeta. Vegeta was like, okay, cool, like this nigga ass. I'm feeling myself. Guess what? 18 came through and did bro dirty.
yeah,
Because
he
because
did. He
I
did
mean, it
Vegeta
Had the
was
dirty.
man
explained. Well,
holding his arm in pain.
so what's the argument there? Because it was already established that these niggas would die from the androids.
no
That
no
off
no
rip should have told you how strong they
no no no
were.
no what I'm no 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 I'm saying this is like this is how the power is getting consistent. I'm not nitpicking the shit. This is how the power consistent. 19 got shitted on by Vegeta. 17 and 18 is a significant more better model than fucking 16 and 19.
Yeah, because they have the infinite energy thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You feel me? They're
Yeah,
they
Yeah.
similar concept as I know
they're
she's not canon, but kind of similar concept as 21.
there is a way superior, more better version than 19 and 16, 17 and 18. This is known. Because Jiro didn't even know about fucking Super Saiyan. But he created androids with infinite energy.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, what it
Yeah.
yeah, they was fucking human beings that he artificially made into androids. Quite
Yeah.
like
He
Yeah,
like
had like
like
yeah,
like
they
like
did
a
have like
module.
human lives before they were android. I think their name was like Lapis and Lazuli or something like that.
Yeah. That I think that was their names. Yeah.
yeah, like
Uh.
quite literally. No sooner after that, 18 shitted on Vegeta. No problem. Piccolo when he got a power up, he's significantly more stronger than Vegeta in Super Saiyan. He's able to fight hand to hand with 17, no problem.
I don't know about no problem, but
Nigga, Vegeta's not fighting 17. At that point,
no, I'm saying if you're talking about Piccolo versus 17, I wouldn't say that was a no problem kind of fight.
it was damn near even. If you ask me, the only thing
Yeah,
is,
That was a
the,
no problem.
the only thing is that shit, 17 just had fucking stamina out the fucking wazoo.
I don't know. I feel like that fight was just demonstrating that these people, that like Piccolo is Android here, right? Like he surpassed the Super Saiyans, right? At least at that point, that's like what it's trying to show. They were dead even, like they were trading blows, trading key blasts. There was real. I don't think there was one moment in that entire fight where it showed like one of them having an upper hand. It was just them being extremely relative in power.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Like,
only
yeah,
upper hand you could say, well, that 17 had was that the infinite energy thing, because Piccolo was kind of getting gas as the fight was progressing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
That's literally it. But other than that, they were like straight on even.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we come to find out that this nigga Cell is on some bullshit. Like he's quite literally stronger than all of. Once he absorbs 17 and 18, he's quite literally like the strongest and most perfect android until we meet 21, who will become fucking relevant later down the line. But he's quite literally the fucking strongest android.
Yeah, that is
That's
true. Yeah,
that Jiro literally fucking took his critique ass time with.
yeah. He literally called Cell the ultimate life form, right? Because
Quite
he was like he was like he was like Da Vinci, bro. Like that was like Cell was his greatest work of art ever.
fact.
Yeah,
So it's like these characters is literally scaling to each other in a the most simplest fucking way. And I don't know how this shit is going over people's head. Now, if you want something to be on some fucking extreme, like Mitch said, this shit gonna be on some philosophical. I can't even say the fucking word. I'm so fucking into
Philosophical. If they want a plot with that has to deal with the meaning of life and questioning like what is humanity.
niggas want Dragon
Go
Ball to
watch
have a
Attack
Full
on
Metal
Titan or
Alchemist
something. Go
story.
watch Death Note, bro.
That's
Like it.
that's
That's
what
more what I'm confused about because Dragon Ball scaling, for the most part, is extremely straightforward.
is
Like, it's
fuck.
not hard. It's not hard to figure out who is stronger than who. You look at a series like, and I know it's like people at the time you bring this up. You look at a series like JoJo. For power scaling, you have to take a lot of things into account: how smart they are, how they can apply their abilities, how much they like, how much of their ability are they able to tap into. Like you can't just say who is stronger than who in JoJo, and it's just this person be this person, this person be this person, so this person is stronger. But with Dragon Ball, that's basically it. It's not a very complicated power scaling dynamic.
But the shit is not complicated whatsoever. He's literally feeding us the fucking material.
yeah. Like Dragon Ball, like it's so weird. Like that people do have criticisms, but like Dragon Ball scaling because everything about Ki is so linear. If you have more Ki, you have more power. If you have more Ki, you have more speed. You have more durability. If you have more Ki, you can straight up just like deny somebody's abilities. You can straight up just overpower them to the point where their abilities no longer matter. So it's just like it's just a battle of Ki. That's all it ever has been. It's never been anything but that. So I don't really get the complaints, at least with like scaling. Now, if you think like certain characters being on certain tiers of power doesn't make sense, that's a completely different story. But at least in terms of like Ki as a power system and how it makes sense for these characters to be that strong, it's pretty simple. I've always thought, even as a kid, I understood it. It was never nothing very complex about Dragon Ball's like metrics.
Bro, it was just the simple fact that this shit be going over people's head and it's the simplest thing ever. And it's like I was saying, bro, people expecting Dragon Ball to have like Full Metal Alchemist storytelling or some shit. And it's like this shit literally started out as an adventure, my boy. Literally.
Yeah,
Like
I
I think
mean,
that's another thing. People just like they won't even like their criticisms with Z is because they're starting at Z. Like there's a whole other part of the manga that you're missing, my guy. So that when you get these callbacks to like when Goku was a kid and them, it's like, oh, where's this coming from? need to go back and watch Dragon Ball, or watch or read the original Dragon Ball.
Like starting Naruto and Shippuden. Like
it's like starting Naruto and Shippuden. Like, come on, dog. Like, what are we doing?
It's like you really started at Shippuden and was like, oh damn, like where did this blonde haired Hokage come from? Like, nigga, did you not?
Exactly. Like, what?
What you mean? What Tsunade come from? Now everybody questioning you.
Oh wait, why did this black haired guy leave the village?
Exactly.
Why is that man racist? Like,
Facts.
Yo.
Oh my god, the whole clan is gone? What happened?
Exactly. Missing key plot points because you ain't want to watch. You ain't start from.
Exactly.
So like, come on.
Honestly, Nick, I feel your pain because I get I know I keep bringing up this series, but like it's my top one, so I gotta talk about it. When people told me they started at like part 4 or part 5, or even just like, oh yeah, I don't want to see the stand, so I just skip straight to part 3. Like, bro, what are you doing?
But Turtle, you gotta understand though. On Twitter, niggas gas part 4 and 5 up so much. It's a lot of niggas I know who don't even know who the fuck Jotaro is. But they know who Giovanna is.
Man,
I just don't. I wanted to see the stands, so I skipped straight to part 3, bro. Bro, oh my.
Or if they do,
I hate that.
Or if they do know who Jotaro is, they don't know who the fuck Joseph is.
Who is Vitelli? Who is Caesar?
They don't even know who Caesar is. Oh, they don't even know the fucking full story about Dio until they go to YouTube.
Basically,
that's honestly terrible.
5-minute recaps, like, bro.
But
that just doesn't make sense. I've never been a fan of, like, if you want to skip maybe like an arc on a rewatch because you didn't like the first time, that's cool. But if you're like starting out a series and you just kind of like skim all around, I never understood that. If I'm starting a series, I'm gonna watch it all the way through, even the bad stuff. I had to endure Long Road Island for One Piece, and that motherfucker made me want to bash my skull in with a brick. I hated that. I hated with passion, but I got through it. Like, if you don't like a part, I can understand maybe like not wanting to continue the series, but just straight skipping around, that's like it's weird to me. I never understood. You want to do it, that's you, just not for me personally.
Yeah,
I have my own comments on that. I feel as though if you out here skipping through like parts of a show or a series, just drop the show altogether, bro. Because you're just wasting your time at that point.
You wasting a lot of motherfucking time.
I understand there are certain parts of like a series that may not be as exciting as the previous one, or you want to get to the quote unquote good stuff, but it's like storytelling takes time, my boy. You're not gonna, these authors and mangakas, they don't rush their work, and for you to just skim through it, try to get through this, miss all this important stuff prior, that when it gets referenced in it later arcs, you're gonna be like, it was from that boring arc, man. I don't care about that. Just drop the series altogether. That's how I feel personally, because you just wasted time.
Wait, bro, you wasting people's time, bro, doing dumb shit.
Yeah,
that's like me. That's like me again with Dragon Ball. That's like me reading through Dragon Ball from chapter 1 and skipping over the first tournament, skipping over the Red Ribbon Army, just to get to the King and the 22nd tournament, just for me to get to the King Piccolo part, and then go on from there. I'm missing all of that right there. That's just ridiculous. Like, you might as well drop that, bro.
It's like watching Saiyan Saga did, like skipping straight to Majin Buu. Like, it's like, bro, what are you on?
What are you doing? Like
you gotta skip over. Why are you doing
people listen? That's the thing too. Stop skipping these fucking arcs, bro. Y'all missing out on shit. Stop skipping. We tired of y'all coming to the timeline or going. Your fucking YouTube history is a bunch of like, oh, what is this? Or where did this character come from? Or their origin story. Like, bro, watch the fucking story. Bro, watch it.
Exactly.
And Rel would know why this makes me mad specifically. But the amount of people who have skipped part 6 because so many people gas up part 7 it's a legitimate problem in the JoJo community. People will finish the anime and this is before like the part 6 anime came out. Now they'll at least like start part 6, so they may just like finish in the manga. But
Yeah.
before the Part 6 anime was out, they would finish Golden Wind. They would hear everybody just completely meet writing Part 7 and then just completely disown Part 6. Not even take a second glance.
That's awful. That's legit awful. I ain't can't.
And Part 6 is my favorite part, bro. Like, and so I would go to it like a JoJo fan, be like, "Hey, yo, bro, you like Part 6?" He's like, "Oh man, I skipped that." I'd be like, "Bro, what the fuck?"
Meech, imagine somebody skipping Soul Society and going straight to Hardcore Time. That's how that's how significant
Oh
of a
my
skip
gosh.
that is.
Speaking of Bleach, right? It's crazy you brought that up. Maybe it's on this topic. So when the Bleach War Arc got announced, right? There's people who legit haven't read Bleach. They skipped all of it and went straight to the War Arc to read the War Arc, bro.
Wait, you serious?
I am so.
No, you clowning. You're trolling. You gotta be trolling.
Dog, I am more serious right now than cancer. Like, I'm not even joking, bro.
What kind of analogy is that?
This
Hey,
nigga is tough with the
hey, bro. I'm dead serious, dog. Shut up, Sonny.
That don't even make. That's like skipping directly to the War Arc in like Naruto. You're not gonna know anything.
People legit did that, and I'm just looking at them in insanity, bro. Like, what is wrong with you, bro? Are you okay?
What are you getting from that at that point? What you don't get any context. You don't know any more about the series than if you just read the Blood War arc or just watched it. You're not gaining anything else.
This is around the time where like the hype is still high, but when it first got announced and Bleach was trading for weeks on weeks on weeks, that's when it really started to flood in with people saying, "Yeah, bro, I've never been a Bleach fan, or I like read like 50 chapters, but I'm about to skip all of that and just go to the War arc."
Speaking of that, there's one thing that I talked about. It's just on the subject of Bleach. These, I'm not gonna lie, these Bleach fans are starting to become annoying with this gatekeeping, because I don't know if y'all seen the post or not on Twitter, but if you follow him, I'm pretty sure y'all know who Totally Not Mark is, right?
Yeah, Mark. Yeah,
like you've heard of him.
Who?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that?
Totally Not Mark. He's a YouTube content creator. He does like reviews on certain anime series and stuff. Pretty big YouTuber in the anime community.
I don't know who that is, but I'll check it out.
His reviews are actually pretty good.
What you saying?
Totally Not Mark.
An artist.
Totally Not Mark. That's the Dragon Ball guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. I've watched like a few of his videos where he like redraws anime panels and like he talks about the industry. He's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So bro, actually, like, because I see him on my TL because like anime and stuff. So he did, and he ventured out from Dragon Ball, and he would start reading series that he's never like actually watched or read before, because like I forgot where he's from, but like they didn't have these like animes over where he grew up at. So he ventured out into One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Berserk.
Oh yeah, last time I saw him on my timeline, yeah, Chainsaw Man. Yeah, he was reading Chainsaw Man.
Yeah,
he did Naruto. So he did 2 of the big 3, right? Gave his opinions on those. Now he's about to do Bleach. I don't know if y'all know this dude. What was this nigga's name? Like James something. The nigga's like a well-known Bleach YouTuber.
James Hansen. James something.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Didn't my man get outed as being a racist?
Yeah, that's been a couple years. But this nigga actually had like he actually had a screenshot from what Mark said over a year ago about the series Bleach, because he watched the anime and he got into like 35 episodes and he just wasn't feeling it. And so Brody's like, I saved this up for the switch up. The thing was the tweet was a year ago, my guy. A year ago.
The media is crazy.
You're not allowed to change your opinion on a series. What?
Exactly. Everybody in the quote
shit from was like, ago, you need help.
Everybody calling him mad corny. They're like, bro, this was from a year ago. Niggas can't have a different opinion. Their opinions can't change.
Listen,
like, bro, Rel can vouch. Before I started One Piece, even though like I was mostly clowning because I didn't know anything about the series, but I would slander One Piece just for like the fun of it. I'd be like, nah, One Piece trash, yada yada. Now I love the series. Like, that's not hypocritical. Like,
Yeah, I
Like,
don't think it is.
bro, like I can understand. Nigga said, "Oh, it's convenient that he's doing this." It's like, nigga, you can't enjoy a series. Oh, and bro feels entitled because we've been waiting 12 years for our series to come back. Everybody want to switch up. You should be happy. You want more people in the community. That's just like first and foremost.
Well, I will say about that specifically, right? I feel like the gatekeeping anime in general is just kind of like no funny. That's like kind of goofball version like mentality. If I'm being frankly honest, like
Now that
that,
shit's mad lame.
that's
Like,
given like I live in a basement with my mom's type energy. But
That's extremely lame, bro. I've been waiting the same amount of time for Panty and Stalking to come back. That ended in 2010, and it just got announced. And if someone be like, "Oh, I want to hop on Panty and Stalking," bro, please enjoy the series. I love it. I want you to love it too. Like, what do you lose from more people enjoying your series?
that's 100% true. So that's that one side there that they're just weirdos, and then it's the other side that are doing it not because they don't want people to enjoy the series, but because they don't want this switch up to be like okay, because Bleach has a long known history of being extremely slandered. It got to the point where people was legit saying it's not even the big three when the big three is not
Yeah,
even
they
real.
would say like Big Three is like Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where they disliked the series so much that they were making fun of like Kubo's health when this man was almost on his deathbed, like before the like during the war arc, during and writing the war arc, right?
Bro,
So it got
listen,
to that level,
my goal
and it just
wrote that shit with a hand injury. No
yeah,
problem.
exactly. And
I
illness,
respect him.
this
I could
man
never
was
do that.
yeah, and illness, like literally bedridden with illness, like this man was in such bad condition, like it wasn't even funny, and it's like I can kind of understand why people are just like, nah, they'll keep the same energy, right? So one half is random emo turtleneck versions, and on the other half, it's just people that are mad and bitter, and they just basically saying, yo, keep the same energy. Like y'all are going out your way to slander, say this, that, and the third, mock Kubo for how he looks. That's like another thing for some reason. They talk about this man's looks, and then I'm just like, what?
that's
What are you mock? He got
that's
the most
one
drip out of all the big
that's
three.
one thing. That's one thing if people are doing that, they're weirdos. I'm not gonna lie. You making fun of another person, grown man's health. Relax. But it's just the fact that bro was holding on to that screen. He literally went to bro's profile on Twitter, screenshot that, had that there for a whole year in his phone. And the minute bro wants to work on the last part of the big three that he needs to go over, Bleach, all of a sudden you really want to show out. You literally took the time to go to
Mm.
that screenshot of your phone, go under his tweet. Oh, I saved this for this just to get for the switch up. Like, you are a grown man, bro.
That
Grown
is so
ass man.
corny.
That is, and people on TL are calling him out, bro. Like, that man is corny as hell. Super
Yeah,
corny, bro.
that's
Like,
straight cornball energy.
like a loser. He's a straight
Yeah,
loser for that.
Now that
yeah,
shit.
Like, no other word around it.
Now that
and
shit.
that's
That shit
100%
corny,
true.
Almost
bro.
every person I know has had like a quote unquote switch up, or maybe they'll like not want to give an anime a chance or not like an anime they haven't seen. Then they see it and their opinion changes. That's just human nature. We're not gonna keep the same opinions forever.
Exactly. So it's like,
Listen,
that
I
you
still
as
got
a
my
grown
same
man had that
opinion.
in your phone for a whole year, and when Buddy wants to decide to give the series a chance again, because keep in mind he did for like 35 episodes and just wasn't feeling it, probably because he was watching the anime. I'm pretty sure. In this upcoming review, he's been reviewing the manga portions of these shows because it's faster. It's just a way to consume the media faster. So it's like, nigga, you entitled bitch, get the fuck out of here. Like, move left, my nigga. Like,
Yeah,
like
that
move
is true
left,
though.
bro. You lame.
That's the reason it's such a high effect, right? Because it's that side of things. It's the other side. Like I said, people are basically like they're mad angry because they're saying keep that same energy from all those years ago, right? And then on top of that, the Bleach announcement happened. So now we got a new level of controversy on top of that, and that's the reason why like the fandom might seem as toxic as ever because there's just so much going on at once. There's so many layers of the cake, if that makes sense. Like it's just so much going on at once that
I
it just
really
kind of
think it's just. I don't even think the community is toxic, quote unquote. I think it's just that nigga. I just think it's him.
I would just
yeah.
never understand that
Because
mindset.
everybody else in
Why
the
would you
quote
not
retweets
want
were just
someone
like,
else? Oh no, sorry, my
Well,
bad.
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily the whole community. 'Cause I think like Bleach as a whole has one of the chillest communities. Like when you like, I rarely see Bleach fans out here wilding like that. And I'm a Bleach fan myself, so just having the eyes out, I barely see that. But
no, it's
I
just
mean,
him. It's just that cornball.
I mean, him and people that have that same philosophy, and like I said as well, people that are just mad, kind of bitter, right? And I think like that's the reason in this moment, as we're speaking, right? It appears like it's this high end of toxicity. I don't know if you've seen anything outside of that, but I definitely have. Like James wasn't the first person, and he's definitely not going to be the last when Bleach come out. But it's definitely seems as an all time high that the Bleach fandom is looking not so good. But
Yeah. Listen,
yeah.
I was gonna say, bro, with the announcement on Disney Plus, the screens finna go up for Bleach. We might honestly
Why do people have a problem with that? By the way, like I'm
no,
still trying to
because
figure
I
that
think
listen,
out.
it's because the whole
they
Mickey Mouse
spreading
thing has been a big meme in the anime community
they
recently.
spreading misinformation
I think it
like a
started with Black
motherfucker.
Clover, like the whole Black Clover Mickey Mouse memes. And then I think like recently like the My Hero Mickey Mouse memes have been a thing. So now like just the whole Mickey thing is like kind of the meme has died, but people still use it to like say that the series is bad.
Basically, niggas are misinformed. They really think that just because it's streaming on Disney Plus, that Disney has their hands in Bleach. That's not the case. This is Kubo. This is Studio
Yeah,
Period. These are these niggas. This is literally their. This is his product that he's
yeah,
allowing for Disney to stream, so it gets out there more to the Western audience. Literally, yeah, it's still going to be uncensored. We're still going to get all more like detail that Kubo wasn't able to put in the manga due to health reasons and time constraints. All that stuff is still going to be what Kubo envisioned, all on the big screen. It's just getting out there to a broader audience.
yeah,
I don't see
exactly.
people would think that's a bad thing. I mean, I just don't think they know what marketing is.
Yeah, and it's just
Bro,
as I thought. Like people are just misinformed about what they're talking about, as per usual on Twitter.
per
Like people
usual.
just have such a big consistency on Twitter just to sit up there and talk about stuff they know nothing about, and it's so weird, right? And it's not
And
like
these
you
Twitter is
about to
just
know it
sheep
all.
mentality too. So it's like
Yeah,
they
straight
just can't form
NPC
opinions
behavior,
for themselves. It's like
straight
damn, yeah.
straight RoboCops. It's mad weird, bro. Like I don't get it.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, because I'm happy that we getting our like we telling niggas like y'all getting misinformed and all of this shit. Because per usual. But the other topic I want to talk to y'all about,
Mm.
can a death make or break a series?
I
Uh,
have a feeling this is about the whole. I'm assuming it's going with the whole My Hero thing. I'm assuming this is where it's coming from, right?
Not only that, I've been
But
like
just in
I
general.
just in general, but not only that
Okay.
because I've been really
Okay.
like because ever since people just started clowning the series, I'm like damn, like it's funny because it's like y'all do this like every time leaks come out, so it's nothing new.
Exactly. That's why I'd
But
be weird. That's why I wait for the full chapter to come out. Because like you can take because niggas can see manga panels out of context all they want and get their jokes off. But when you see it in context with the whole chapter being released, it'll be like, oh, okay, now I see why X, Y, and Z went this path or the theme of this. So like that's why I wait for the Shonen Jumps on Sunday. As far as a character's death that can make or break a series, I really
I
think that's just like a
think it
popularity
depends.
thing.
Honestly.
Yeah, I think that's just like
I'm just
to me.
talking.
I don't think one person's death can, for me personally, I don't think a death like breaks a story or like the lack of death can break a story. It's just like if the character dies, they die. Like it is what it is. Like the story must go on. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
I
if
also
a
said I wanted
character is
to ask
that
for like
impactful to the story where it breaks the if the death of this one character is so impactful for you that it just stops the story for you. I mean, I guess that's why it's like a subjective thing. So it's like,
I mean, I mean, yeah, I think yes. I personally think the answer to that question is yes. It definitely can make or break a story. Um, Kind of like when Meech was saying, just to extrapolate off of what he was talking about, but Meech was talking about the whole concept of like interpretation, right? And how this character might have a sense of impact to you. That's just one simple way of looking at it, right? Of that, okay, this character means a lot to you. So this character died, and this character might be your favorite. And it's kind of like the story as a whole lessens because that character no longer exists, right?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
even so I think that's one way of looking at it. But I think the other way of looking at it is how do they impact the story as a whole? Like how did like I definitely do think like in a sense it's like in a sense of like if Goku died permanently. And I'm not saying that like it's necessarily would be a bad or a good thing, but I'm saying that in the sense of like if people that are not really meant to die, then it's kind of bad. If people that are meant to die and they kind of don't when they probably should is like that's like these things definitely do matter. So I think it's a yes, but it kind of just depends on context and what the narrative is trying to show you, right? Because I think one example of a death that does good for the story is like Kamina from Gurren Lagann, right? And how
Yeah.
Kamina's death really did wonders for Simon's development as a character, him growing into a younger man, right? Him accepting his true nature and trying to move past that, be like his brother, move beyond that, move beyond the fear, right?
Yeah.
Be a leader.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
Somebody like Aaron was supposed to die. Like I think the story was pretty much setting it up that Aaron was going to be the final main boss, and he kind of set it up to be that way. And I
Mm-hmm.
think when it comes to deaths, and I think this might be the best executed death in probably anime history from what I've seen, and that's Lelouch in Code Geass. That ending with him making himself the legit villain of the world and letting like pretty much the god's hero in
Yeah,
what's his
cause they
name?
was honestly like friends. Like he really put his friend in a good ass position. Like you can't help but get praised for this.
Yeah, and he was like legit perceived as the golden boy of the army, right? The golden boy of the mech army of the government, right?
Yeah.
So him doing that, killing Lelouch, killing the evil king of Britannia, he pretty much set an even playing field for people to finally be happy without a world of genocide and just bigotry and racism and things like that, right? It was so much cruelty in the world, and him doing that, him painting himself as that villain, it really helped the narrative, and it was like a beautiful conclusion to the story. So I definitely think that yes, but it's in a sense of like, what if Krillin died? I don't think that would do too many wonders for the story. Like I don't think that'll really impact the story in such a negative way, unless the characters just straight up start lashing out of character. Like I don't know, maybe Goku just does a full 180, then that'll be kind of weird. But even then, you can just call that character development. But regardless, I feel like to a degree, Nietzsche is right. It's a matter of interpretation of what you consider. Like I said, and kind of how I said earlier, we were talking about value. What's valuable, what's not valuable. So it's a matter of what you enjoy, like me said, what you care about, what you value, and what death as a whole really means to you as a watcher. It really is my two thoughts.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm.
I feel like I agree with you and Meech. It can make and break a story depending on how you censor your character, especially around the cast. Like you said, for instance, with Simone, right? When Kamina
Mhm.
died, that progresses pro- progresses character like even more because we knew that Kamina was like the heart of the team. Like
Mhm.
So Simone, he didn't have no choice but to fill in his position and do what was best in his brother's interest. If you get what I'm. And not only
Yeah,
that, and not only that, Kamino was really like telling him like, bro, listen, at the end of the day, like whether I'm here or not, you need to grow up.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
just simple. You feel me? We in a cruel world, and the shit that we doing is not it's not safe. Like the shit quite dangerous. So,
Yeah, exactly. That yeah, I think Kamina is a big example, and I think Lucius, like I said earlier, he's probably the biggest example of like how a death can impact the story. Him, Aaron,
yeah,
Father from Full Metal Alchemist, like these
yeah,
people like dying
def
means a lot on the character.
like I could say the characters who definitely impacted the story, like when they died, was Hohenheim, Father,
Mhm.
Lelouch, Light when he died, um Aaron, because he really set himself up to be the fucking villain, like quite literally.
Yeah,
He set himself up to be the villain. Um, who else can I say? Like uh Jiraiya and Naruto, and it just showed Naruto, and with Jiraiya and
yeah,
Naruto, that really showed Naruto like you feel me. You can never be too cautious. Like
yeah.
like
That is true.
like never like it could come and strike you with the most valuable people that you hold dear to you. Like it could just happen. Another person we could say is Itachi as well. Like he really was carrying a lot of shit on his back, and when Sasuke found out, it was a revelation to him. So,
Yeah,
I stand by like it can make and break a series depending on how you revolve these characters around each other. But at the same time, at the same time, um, I'm devil's advocate towards it, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, but like it really doesn't matter to me. Like I'm for both. Like if there are certain characters that must die in order for the story to continue, I perfectly understand that. When you have characters that are prominent in the story that center around like the main cast of characters, like with Naruto and Jiraiya and Itachi and Sasuke, like these were people who played a big role in their lives. Sasuke especially. Like this nigga's whole character was literally centered around killing his older brother. And then for once when bro finally died, and for just like immediately, like an episode later, like we find out truth about Itachi, like why he killed the clan and how like the Lee village elders were involved. And it's just like everything that was really that Sasuke knew was just a lie. And like the truth was actually being revealed to bro. And that just helped bro establish his own mindset. But like, okay, so the Lee's been on shit for years and niggas wanted to hide it and they wanted to have my brother be out here being a puppet. Oh yeah. Time to pack up the village. Yes, sir. We moving this way.
Right.
And with Jiraiya, it's like Jiraiya was honestly like outside of like Aruka and the third was like really that person that Naruto needed in his life. For those 2 years of training, and even prior to that, Naruto definitely looked up to Jiraiya like a lot. So for him to find out that bro died and Lady Tsunade just basically let bro go on the mission alone, it's understandable how bro reacted. Like niggas seem to realize that, or don't seem to realize that Naruto was ostracized by his own village, even up to like in Shippuden. I mean, like he's slowly getting acknowledged, but it's not until like after the pain arc where everybody sees him as this hero. Like, bro had to grow up in isolation alone. Like, he had
Quite
no family.
quite
Like this,
literally.
in the in the person that you consider family, like your closest family dies, and like, no, bro, like his buddy had all right to be as mad as he did and was upset like that. So yeah, like characters like those who are prominent to the main character definitely can help make the story or like advance the evolution of the characters in said story. Uh, but I did want to say one thing. You know who that nigga Naruto wouldn't have cried over? That bum ass white haired sensei of his.
Oh my god. You
That
were
nigga with the
spitting for
eye.
like a solid.
That
You were
nigga with the
spitting for a
eye.
solid 5 minutes. You was spitting for a solid 5 minutes. You just ended on some trash.
What? I just said that white haired sensei. Ain't nobody know who I'm talking about.
This
That's up for y'all interpretation.
Everybody
this
know what you talking
guy.
about. You bum ass
Every
nigga.
fucking time is it's this guy. I'm telling y'all.
We ain't talking about Gojo, bro. Obviously, you mean Kakashi. Come on
Nigga,
now.
I could have said Keysuke or hard. Like what? What?
I mean, Kiyusuke is blonde for starters. But yeah,
Semantics.
Nigga, Kisuke really.
semantics.
Kisuke really him. Nigga, don't even start that.
He said white hair for starters, bro. That man Kiyusuke is pure blonde, bro. That man got blue eyes and everything. Man said, yo,
that one sensei y'all be gassing up. The copycat ninja Kakashi
Here we
Hatake credit list. That's
Here-
crazy. Bank
here
account
we
on
go.
zero. He ain't dead.
Here we go. Here we fucking go with this guy. Boy, I tell you.
That nigga Naruto wasn't a cry for Kakashi, bum ass sensei.
Boy, look at this.
Slander is real, bro.
The
You mean to tell
slander.
me you knew you knew who my father was the whole time? You ain't about to help me? Oh yeah, we smoking that Kakashi pack. Pack him up.
This
Next
nigga.
topic. Next topic.
Anywho. This topic, right, is can a fan base determine whether you like or dislike a series?
Let me get this out the way. I'm gonna say this right now. We're all grown ass men and women. If you let the fans deteriorate you from watching this series or reading particular thing or playing a said game or whatever it is, you need to have your life reevaluated, bro. No one should have this much control over you. I don't care how toxic this fan base is. And I can tell that the Dragon Ball fan base is toxic. These niggas are not gonna stop me from championing my show or stopping me from watching the series, reading the manga, buying the games, etc., etc. I'm going to champion my series. I'm going to separate myself away from those fans because they do the most. But I'm still going to be a fan of the series regardless. If you let a fan base do that, dude, come on, bro. Come on. Like, every fan base is weird. Let's keep it a buck. But if they have that much control to the point where they're like, you're just like, I don't know, man. The fan base is kind of nigga. Who gives a fuck about the fans? They ain't writing the story. That shit being written by a nigga who's making millions and wants to give the greatest storytelling that they possibly can. And you are missing out because you letting fans control you, bro. That's OD wild. Come on, we too grown out here.
The way I see it is that if we're talking about just starting a series, I feel like there are a lot of things there are a lot of things that have stopped me from starting a series. I'm not interested, or even still, maybe the fans are just not some people that I want to only associate with or be associated with. Because you can completely separate yourself from the fans, but if you say, "Oh, I like this series," if you tell that to someone, the first thing they're gonna think is, "Oh, you're with this crowd." And that for some fandoms that are just that bad, a lot of people don't want to take that risk with their reputation. And honestly, I don't. I can see how you would come to that conclusion, but I think people have a lot of different reasons for not starting a series. I have my own reasons. Like the reason I don't start that Rurouni Kenshin series is pretty obvious. I've heard it's a great series. I've heard it's a good story. It's just knowing that before I even know anything about the story, about the author, kind of just makes me want to go like, I'm good on this. I'll skip out on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
No, what's that one tweet that nigga said? It was a one tweet of a video, bro. It's like there be bad people on here. They be making gas. It's like I don't know if you talk about if you've seen it, you've seen it. But bro, like these people are awful, terrible people out here making gas. You get this amazing peak right here, then you find out the author beating his wife or whatever. It's like, damn, that's fucked up. But he making gas though.
Yeah, like
terrible.
R. Kelly defenders, but we ain't gonna talk about R. Kelly
defenders
right
I
now.
can understand that's tough.
Nah, bro, I'm
let's
not
not get
gonna
into R.
lie.
Kelly. You want to separate art from the artist, bro? The art is still like made worse when you know the motherfucker is talking about like 8-year-olds. So
yeah, you can't. That's one instance where you can't separate art from artist. That Nah, bro. He needs to
Because
be
the
in the
art
dirt.
itself is worse.
Exactly. So when people are still, if people are still now trying to step in the name of love, it's kind of like, all right, bro. I see where you lie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's OD. But yeah, like that's one instance where I'm just like, nah, you can't separate the art from the artist. But ultimately, going back to the fan bases, like I said, it's kind of like for particularly just like a fan base stopping you from watching a certain series. It's kind of like, it's like really, bro, you kind of missing out on all this heat, this gas that being made right now. You really letting these weirdos over here trying to stop you from watching it? Nah, bro, move them
You
out
gotta
the
think
equation.
they don't know that they get into gas because with any series you're taking a risk of it being a complete waste of your time. Like that was me with Oregon High School Host Club. I gave it a chance. That motherfucker was boring. I hated it. I never want to watch that series again. But now you're taking that risk
You don't like
upon the
Aura
risk,
High School?
upon like the foreknowledge of, let's say, like this is gonna be an extreme example, but think about how people perceive like the K-On fandom. Keep in mind, I've watched K-On. K-On is a pretty wholesome series. It's about some girls in a band trying to make some music. But you look at the fan base, it's like Nazis and racists and pedophiles. It's like horrible. So
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
with
don't see people not
with
wanting to be
K on.
associated with the
I
group.
was gonna say with K on, that shit is a pretty straightforward series. That shit is like, how can you hate K on until you really do meet the fan base? And it's like, yeah, these niggas cringy.
It's Nazis and racists. How do you form a fan base? If you've seen K-On, you understand how confused I am that from that show derived a fan base of Nazis and racists and pedophiles. How that has nothing to do with the series.
Nothing.
What is the show called?
It's about girls.
It's called K-On. It's literally just about some high school girls in a band. That's it.
Yeah.
But the fandom be on some bullshit, bro. I promise you.
Yeah, so if that's your first impression of
You know
the series, and I know, like, for me, first impressions are like mean a lot. If that's your first impression of the series is through a motherfucker saying that black people are like deplorable, I would see where you're like, yeah, I'm good on this. I'm gonna pass on this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible.
Like I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. Like, okay, like it's the question of can it? I think 100% it definitely can. Should it? Probably not. But there's a lot of things in humanity that shouldn't be that way, but it is simply because we're human. The concept of fans, like I guess you can say, quote unquote, controlling you, that happens with everybody. Everybody is influenced by something else and or somebody else, right? So like kind of what Turtle said, right? Like if your first impression is like these extremely toxic people, you might not, it might not even be to the point where you're controlled. It just might be to the point where you're just kind of like, I was going to give it a chance, but like y'all are kind of like racist, sexist, homophobes or something like that. Or y'all just very terrible people. And it gives you a sense of bitter taste to it. And you're just kind of tempted not, like you're tempted to look away from your laptop, basically, right? Like, I feel like to say that like this thing like cannot happen is just kind of weird to me because it happens with literally everything else. Like I feel like anybody in this like chat or anybody online would agree that like outside like maybe anime, it can happen to you anywhere else, right? It can happen with food. You can be influenced to not like a particular type of food, a particular type of concept, a particular type of law, a particular type of like a pair of sneakers. Like it could be literally any petty, minuscule little thing then you can be influenced to say, yeah, nah, for I'd say infinite amount of possibilities as to why you feel that way or why you're influenced to feel that way. And with fan bases, in a huge majority, it does make sense why people are kind of steered away from it for, like I said, an infinite possibilities, infinite amount of possibilities as to why that's the case. Yeah, it's like it probably shouldn't. It really shouldn't. I always say try to look past it but if you can't, I wouldn't really fault you because there are just some things in the world that we just won't simply be able to enjoy because of our sense of perception, right? Everything we view as good and bad and what's great, what's peak, what isn't, that is just a matter of perception and how we feel about it emotionally. So if you're already kind of going into something with a very negative emotional state, then you're just going to be very just kind of off about it. Like it's not going to really thrive within your soul. You feel me? Like your whole equilibrium is going to be off put, and then you're going to be sitting right there wondering, "Am I just wasting my time?" And honestly, I would say if you're not invested in something, then yes, you are wasting your time. So yeah, I definitely do think a fan base can definitely ruin your sense of what's good and what isn't. It probably shouldn't, but it does because we're just human beings, so that's what it is. That's just keeping it a $1.50.
Yeah.
Yeah, and think about it. Like, I would say the most popular example of that is look at K-pop. In general, K-pop is a pretty harmless genre of music. Like, of course, some of the artists are like racist against black people, but they're Korean. Like, that's kind of what they do over there.
Hold on,
Oh
before,
wow! Wow!
Look, yo,
before,
East Asian people
before,
do not mess with black people. This is a very common fact. Like,
I mean, obviously, but it's still like just by the way they're Korean, so it makes sense. I'm like, bruh.
but like most people, I would say like if the fan base was not attached to it, I feel like most people wouldn't have that much of a problem with trying out K-pop. But the fact that even saying that you enjoy it means you're attached to this completely awful subset of people on the internet has, I would assume, deterred more than enough people from even giving K-pop a chance and just being like, nah, I'm chill on that.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. My issue with K-pop is not necessarily the fandom, because, bro, we got it's Americans who stand. Listen, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into it. But my issue is not the K-pop fans, bro. It's be the shit that, bro, they be gassing up fucking rebrand music that we are that we already did. That's like hits. They just put choreography behind the shit and be like, "Yeah, this is my new song," and it's like, how? Like, how is this your new song? This shit been out. This shit been out for like 30 years. What is you talking about?
Well, you gotta think like, well, I'm not giving these niggas excuses, but I'm not gonna like. Koreans are kind of behind the curveball, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I
Like,
mean that's true though. That's honestly kind of
like,
true. At least in
like
the
when you
music.
really think about it, bro, like they are kind of behind, especially in North Korea, right? So it's like whatever's popular over here, not all of them are getting it over there because that shit's a dictatorship. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, not, and like I said, I'm not giving these niggas excuses. Like, fuck out of here. They're so racist. Some of them niggas is racist as hell.
Yeah,
Don't get it twisted.
some of
Wait,
them is
are you
very
talking about
like.
North Korea or South Korea? Because I don't think that North Korea exactly has a thriving music genre.
Yeah,
I
like
think it's
bro.
North Korea. That's the
Yeah, North Korea is
yeah.
the one that's like one of the few true dictatorships. South Korea is chill. Like I've known
Yeah,
people that went to South Korea, they came back and said it was a complete
South
ball.
Korea, from what I heard, and I did my little YouTube research, it's pretty chill. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice over there. The only thing is, what I be watching on YouTube be the funniest shit. Like, black people living in South Korea. People be so amazed about black people being in Korea and shit that it's like, they said literally, like, this one girl, she was like, sometimes people just fucking stare at her.
Nah, I saw the funniest photo. Now it's racist, but it's like funny racist. It was like this
Bruh.
dude. Hold on, no, you gotta hear me. This dude was on the bus. And I guess like this girl, I guess she looked like she was in like middle school or high school or something. And in like the most broken English, she was, and keep in mind, there's a black dude on a bus. She like tapped him on the shoulder. He turned around. She was like, "I love rap music."
Yo.
What the fuck?
I'm like, you know what? That's racist, but it's like cute. It's like funny racism.
Matter of fact, I wouldn't even say that's racist. I would just say that's just I would say it's ignorant, because you motherfuckers honestly just don't know no better. And then some people don't understand. It's grown ass people who don't understand. It's a time and place for everything. So
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't even say like, yeah.
Again, like I said, I can't blame that girl for that comment because she's never been around anybody black her whole life. She's probably been isolated in like Korea just itself. So when you see someone of color someone black go to South Korea, then what they've heard from like the internet and stuff, because they never actually had an interaction like a one-to-one with a black person, automatically they would assume they do like all black people like rap music. So it's kind of like they're just going off of what they heard and not how they've interacted, because they never had the interaction to begin with. Not excusing these niggas, of course, but you just gotta think like these niggas are behind us by years, my guy. Like,
Nah, facts.
I'd be surprised like when I be seeing these bands and stuff, or like these boy bands or whatever, or groups. I'm like, nigga, this shit was back in 05 for us. What the fuck are y'all? Where are y'all at?
Bands for real.
But that's pop, bro. Listen, but that shit popular.
But like, it's popular over there. It's just that these niggas are behind the 8 ball. Like, nigga,
Well,
what you doing?
It's still popular over here too, bro. BTS got a McDonald's meal.
No, I'm
So I
talking
guess
about
even
like
American
their
motherfuckers-
popularity. Like what they're doing to become popular. That shit has been popular over here since fucking the 2000s, like early 2000s.
Bro, One Direction walked so BTS could run, bro.
Totally.
And like boy band groups are not new.
That shit
Like,
not new. That's always been a thing.
NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, like what? Even if you want to go earlier, rock bands, they consider them as like boy band groups. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that definitely is true.
Now,
I mean, I
what
agree
Like
with
Beatles.
you know what be
fucking-
throwing me sometimes. It's like I like J-pop more than K-pop. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like J-pop.
Yeah.
I like J-pop and I like J-rock more than K-pop, the Korean music in general. Right? That's just me. And there's nothing to Korean music. They got some good original music. They damn so. Even some remixes to our songs was pretty fucking good. But anywho,
Dude, will never get played in my ox.
Anywho, let me get back to my point. Let me get back to my point, right? My thing is, bro, what's be throwing me is when I see black folk, they be full blown like Korean stands, like as if like moving to Korea will solve their problem.
No, it
And I
will
be
not.
I be like, bro, what the fuck? I'm like, bro, is we? That's why they be saying like all black folk ain't kinfolk. Cause I be like, bro,
kinfolk, not kinfolk. Oh,
cause I be like, bro, even with people who be acting like moving to Japan will fix their fucking problem.
Bro, Japan is
No, nigga,
xenophobic
Japan-
on its own. You want to add racism on top of that? Japan, bro.
I'd be like,
Most of East and South Asia does not fuck with us. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna say like every person from like Japan or South Korea or Vietnam or anything. I'm not gonna say they're all racist, but it's not a good. I have not heard many positive experiences from people of color who went to like East and South Asian countries. So, like, I might like visit there, but like to move, nah.
No. I'm cool with vacation and shit, but living there, bro, I'm not gonna set myself up for. I wouldn't be comfortable, bro. Real shit. I wouldn't be comfortable.
nigga, I'm over here at ECU where the population, I don't know how much this population of white people is, but it's majority of white.
Bro,
Nigga, I'm just fucking over. I be over here trying to move over through here. What do I look like going to a whole place,
bro,
on the other side of the
I
map
wouldn't even feel
with a language that I
bro.
don't even know? Like outside the map with people I don't even know. And imagine the racism over there compared to here. Probably on the same level.
Bro, imagine the joy you would feel from seeing one black person after like 4 years, bro. You would be.
Better say your ass right here in the States.
I couldn't do it.
But yeah, if you're one of those people who think that like going to like a foreign country gonna solve all your problems as a black person, you're dumb.
Shit,
Don't even do it, bro.
It's motherfuckers
countries have, even North Korea outside of xenophobia, those countries have their own problems that you just don't see because you intake the media. Like America, and mostly not America, but only a few countries I've seen will plaster their flaws in their media. Like America is very open about the fact that we have a problem with racism, but in like K-pop, you're not gonna see them very often talking about, oh yeah, we have a stalking problem where almost like I think what was to say 1 out of 5 women have had a stalker in South Korea. They have a huge problem with stalking. They have a huge problem with women getting murdered at disproportionate rates. I think for every 50 men in political power in South Korea, there's like 1 woman or some crazy ratio where women have little to no power. The recent president who got elected is an incel. Like, they have their own problems that they're dealing with. You're just like, they're feeding you the romanticized version of their culture. So you going over there, you're gonna see, oh yeah, it sucks over here too.
Or they
Yeah.
come over here. I'm like, and they think shit peaches and cream. It's like, bro, the America is the ghetto, like real shit.
Every country has its problems. That's why, like, I don't like romanticizing any country. Japan has a very staggering suicide rate. South Korea has the whole stalking and sexism problem. America has racism. The UK has blatant amounts of transphobia. Like, almost every country sucks in its own right. So being like, oh, this is
The
the
UK
country I
don't.
want to move to. It's
The
so
UK
great. And
don't like trans
a lot
people.
more like, oh yeah, bro, the UK does not fuck with trans people at all.
What?
They don't pass as many anti-trans legislation as U.S. We pass the most in the world, but yeah, the UK not the safest place for trans people at all.
Man, they're filled with bigots over there, dog. They do not. Man, I'm just saying, bro. Those beans on toast people, man. They're a different breed altogether.
Nigga, a nigga like me would thrive in Bangkok. I promise
Bangkok,
you.
That's such a
bro, said
specific place.
Bangkok.
Why specifically Bangkok? There's no way you said that by accident. There's no way you said that by accident.
I think you just wanted to say the word cock.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, I do too. Wait, what?
Nigga,
What you was talking about, though, Semi?
I'm gonna thrive in Bangkok.
This man repeated it. I mean, Japan always seemed like a nice place, like to be just in a general sense, right? Like maybe like a vacation or something.
Yeah, I would like to visit Japan, but I would never want to like live there.
There are a lot
Yeah.
of things I want to visit. I want to visit Indonesia. Do I want to live in Indonesia? Hell no.
Yeah, it's just. I guess it just feels like I feel like you can definitely go away and live anywhere you feel like you want to. I would just say like at least know like the ins and outs of where you're about to literally like live. And even worse, if you have a family, you're literally like moving your family with you, then like I think you should definitely like you have a sense of responsibility, understanding the ins and outs of the country you're about to move to, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would never bring my family somewhere like Japan and nothing like that. Especially not to live there. Nah, bro.
I would not dare raise my daughter in no fucking Japan.
Yeah, and of course, all
It's just
experiences
wild.
are different, but it's just like I think it's just like looking at the ins and outs, looking at the outs, and just seeing like, okay, what BS am I willing to accept? Because you ain't gonna go nowhere and not have BS. So I think it's just really like the greater evil, right? And I think in a just in a generalized pool, I think that's why a lot of people move specifically, just to go off your point, Meats. I think that's why a lot of people move in general, right? Not necessarily because like not at least not in the majority of cases. I don't think it's the romanticizing part. I think in the majority of cases, it's they're willing to deal with less BS than dealing with more. So they're willing to take an out and be like, okay, I might have to deal with this, but A is better than dealing with that and X, Y, and Z, right? Like just living in America and having to worry about healthcare is one of the biggest issues, and that's something that you should have as a human right. Like, if we're being frankly honest, nobody should be paying for healthcare. Just to be frankly honest.
I'm be honest with you. I never understood that fucking like. I never understood like why healthcare over here. That's just gonna start a whole nother topic. But I was just very curious about that for the longest. Like why healthcare over here is just not affordable.
Right.
Because at least my reason, this is an oversimplified reason. it's kind of hard to afford universal free healthcare. Keep in mind, we do have the budget to do it. We just don't. We would have more money to do it if we didn't spend 6 times as much. Not even like, I understand having a more advanced military in case of like a war or something like it. You always want to have a strong military. But when we are spending 6 times as much as the next 3 countries combined, you couldn't put like a little bit of that into like education or healthcare or social safety nets or anything. No, it has to be egregiously more than the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like with America, there's just a lot of excuses, bro. Like there's a lot you can't really justify about this country, and that's really the most simplified way of putting it, right? Is that there is so much BS with this country that is unjustifiable that people just up and leave because, like I said, they would rather deal with a 2 than a level 5 severity, right? They'd rather deal with X, Y, and Z than A, B, and C. And that's really all there is to it, honestly. That's why people move out to like Puerto Rico or something, even though they have their own set of flaws. They're willing to overlook that because, well, they prioritize what they
but like
over
you
whatever.
said though, in every way possible, everybody is bullshitting in their own little way. Like,
Yeah,
like
that's
literally,
definitely
like
true.
quite literally, everybody is bullshitting in their own little way.
Hmm.
The next topic before I even forget about it, 'cause I just remember this shit like midway through your conversation.
Hmm.
What is the how y'all feel about the state of now of Shonen Jump?
I think the state of Shonen Jump is phenomenal right now. Like, I don't really think there's too much wrong with it. Um, in a general sense, is that I don't really think there's out of all the topics we talked about, I think this is like the least for me to say. I feel like that everybody perceives shonen now. It's like when a person thinks of an anime, they think shonen, right? They think DBZ, they think like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. They think all these high end anime, right? Like the majority of these anime they have in their top 5, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I think that what needs to be said about shonen already kind of is. So it's like whatever flaw shonen might have, we know that flaw. Whatever makes shonen great, we already know. So I feel like it got to the point where it's like shonen is just so considered high end that all of the ins and outs of shonen we already kind of know about it. So I feel like it's like to a point where if you're just intertwined with the anime community in any type of sense, shape, or form, you more than likely already know the answer to that question.
I stepped away for a minute. What was the question?
Like as of right now, how do y'all feel about the current Shonen Jump?
About current Shonen Jump, I feel like we have a lot of really good artists on the come up. We have a lot of new names kind of making themselves known, getting themselves out there. We're starting to see the foundation of the new gen being built, and I'm looking forward to it. I feel like it's a lot of people are saying, and this is actually something I thought earlier. I saw a tweet that was like, "Oh, our mangaka really don't put out like 4 to 5 Go chapters in a row. They don't do that stuff like that anymore." And I think
I saw that tweet from Gil. Yeah.
but my thing is that at least from the era he's talking about, which I assume he's talking about like the late hold up. I assume they're talking about like the late '80s, early '90s, where it's like you had like banger, 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 like DBZ, Yu Yu Hakusho, all that. But that's because you weren't around when those series that were being published were put on the chopping block, or like those series that had maybe like a bit of hype died off and like faded into obscurity. Now we're like seeing those. The amount of series I've seen that had like a pretty decent following, like that Red Hood manga. I don't know if y'all remember that one. That one got chopped.
Wait, what it was about?
Remember the one that was like Little Red Riding Hood?
I'm not reading no manga about Little Red Riding Hood. I'm gonna be honest.
No, it was like
No,
Little
the
Red
manga was called
Mastermind.
Red Hood. It was by I think it was Horikoshi's editor or something. One of like his friends
Yeah,
decided to go
that
off
got
the
axed. I've seen a
manga.
few of this series get axed. So now we're just like we're seeing like just because in real time now we're seeing series come up and then get put on the chopping block relatively early. So we're not seeing like those results of those long lasting series. But I feel like the new gen definitely has potential.
I feel as though too many shonen just go like piggybacking off of what Turtle said. Too many. I feel like too many series aren't being pushed to the forefront, or they're just not given enough time to like do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like if it doesn't attract the audience of people within like the first couple chapters, it automatically is getting axed. And it's like, bro, like no, nigga, like you gotta let shit. Because
Yo,
not every shonen is going to be like a My Hero Academia or a Black Clover or JJK that just instantly gets you right then and there within the first chapter to like certain like like shonens that are like more of the underground or the level below those new gen shonen. They need time to build upon their story. Like I like stories like Aliens Area, like like I can tell
nice
that story
sci-fi.
has mad potential because like it's slowly but surely opening the world up to the point where like it's going where like everything is gonna unfold to us as long as the series is allowed to progress and allowed to unfold. We can't do like you're not gonna be able to do that if it gets axed in 20 chapters, and it's just like, bro. And I will be mad if that series gets axed. I'm not gonna lie to you because that's one of the stories and one of the mangas in Shonen Jump that I'm really liking right now that I'm reading on like a weekly basis when it comes out. So
But
I will be upset
aliens
if
area
they.
really that gas, bro.
Like, it's really a hidden gem in the making for real, for real. Like, and if that gets axed, I'm going to be upset because that story has so much potential. And I want to piggyback off of that tweet that I saw too, where bro Gil he was talking about like these mangaka ain't got it no more. Like the like mangas of before had like 4 or 5 arcs back to back to back. I think that's another thing. You just have to realize that like a lot of these mangakas compared to back then, these mangakas now they have a lot of leeway of how they're able to like conduct their story and how long they're able to take like breaks or whatever. Like back then, they were forced to do like 4 or 5 arcs back to back to back, regardless of if they were good or bad or not, because that's how they had to. Because it was like when they say weekly Shonen Jump, it's weekly Shonen Jump. Like they had to bring out a chapter week after week after week for years upon serialization until it was like, okay, this story is done. I can relax, or I can do something else with my life. Like there was no if, ands, or buts. Like if you wasn't making content, you wasn't eating. So I think it's like different environments and nowadays, and like there are mangakas that are making good arcs, like with JJK Shibuya, a big arc, a major arc in like new modern shonen. My Hero, the I would argue that like the overall arc started like My Hero's like really like ascension into like making great arcs, and it's just like with Black Clover, I'm not a fan of it, but from what I tell from like the community, people like the Spade arc, the Elf arc, this new arc that they're in now. It's like okay, it just takes time, but overall, I feel as though like as long as these publications, like Shonen Jump as a publication, allows these new mangakas that are coming into the threshold to thrive and actually have the time to let their series grow and not ask them when they see that things are just happening too slowly or just being steady and they're not making big jumps in popularity because like it takes a lot to because it's not like because the thing is these other shonen that we champion so much, it took them a while to make their mark. Like it took them to like really be in that upper echelon. So we should give the same chance to these new gen shonens. Plus with JJK, My Hero, and Black Clover, they're not gonna be around forever. I give it like the next 2, maybe 3 years for these stories. Well, more like JJK and Black Clover. I feel like My Hero will wrap up in another year. It's like so after these wrap up, what's going to be the next big shonen? They're all just going to keep axing everything to the point where like fucking Shonen Jump is just going to go bankrupt or some shit like that, or like they're not going to be producing any more shonen. So it's like But ultimately, I think it's in a good place. It's just that it needs more. Meet these new mangakas just need to thrive more. They need to be given a lot more opportunity. They need to be given more than just 20 chapters before something gets axed. And
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially what you said about how stuff really used to be weekly, bro. Kishimoto could not go on his honeymoon until years after he got married because he was just stuck making Naruto.
I couldn't be his wife.
Yeah,
I mean, we can't go on a fucking honeymoon because they wanna work
like,
your ass like a
like,
slave.
niggas actually had to be at that desk, pen and paper in hand, weekly. Like it's something else, bro. Like that nigga Tagashi's health is terrible because of that, and like he's just now coming back into wanting to write again or having the ability to write again. Now, if is he gonna finish the story? We don't know. But he might give these next couple chapters and go on another 2 year hiatus. But you just gotta appreciate the effort that he's giving for his longtime fans and like that he's so passionate about this. Or if like his wife will take over and draw for him. Who knows? We don't like or whoever's close to him and is for to him to finish up his story potentially.
Hopefully, his wife.
But
yeah,
for
you
real.
know, you
Like
can
I would
tell, like
actually like
that was a really big thing, bro. When his account first popped up and there was only one tweet on there, and then we got confirmation from like the official Shonen Jump account that was Togashi, bro. I have never seen a tweet hit 1 million so fast, bro.
because
'Cause I bet you,
people
bro,
been
like
waiting like people were like people don't really understand like how popular. I don't think people realize how popular that nigga Togashi is. Like that nigga really has two classics under his belt, and he's trying to finish up the second one for real, for real. Not many mangas can sit there and say they got two classics that they made in succession. It's really just one for them, and that's it.
But
And and then it's just like their legacy for that one. But this man made two, and he's trying to finish up his second one before and
yeah,
hopefully and prayerfully he is able to do that with the assistance of his wife or whoever his
my
successor
goal,
is.
my goal definitely put
But
two under her belt. Fucking fire horse and
so
soul eater.
oh yeah,
so it's like niggas just have to understand like when bro finally made a Twitter account and he got that, and it's just like when you see all the love and support bro is getting, like people want this stuff to they want him to be able to write his series at his own time, of course, because he not gonna be at the demands of anybody. He's fucking Takashi. Like this nigga don't gotta prove nothing to nobody no more. Like and like a lot of these mangakas ain't gotta prove nothing to these companies no more. Like they already solidified themselves in the demographic of shonen and manga in general. So it's like for him to actually just come out and be like, "Yeah, I'm still writing this." It may take a while, and the fans understand. Bro's got bad health. Whenever he releases something, they're gonna be right there gassing it like they should. So, but yeah, ultimately, Jump is in a good state. It just needs people to like the editors just need to not be so quick to act something because they don't see the instant success that these other mangakas had like 30 plus years ago.
True, true.
yeah.
I was
Good way of
definitely
putting it.
upset with Samurai 8 and fucking Phantom Series got axed. Nigga, my heart was broken.
Oh yeah, I heard about Samurai. That was Kishimoto, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was Kishimoto, right?
Yeah,
That was Samurai.
Samurai 8 was Kishimoto. I was honestly surprised when his shit got asked. I was like, damn.
Because
Because
every
Kishi established, bro. He is established and respected. I'm surprised he got axed.
I was really
because they were
shocked.
so focused on finish Boruto, but it's like he got already somebody doing Boruto. Like why the fuck he need to come back and do Boruto? And then the Boruto community man that know better on fucking Twitter, and I doubt Kishimoto seen it. They was like, oh, he need to drop fucking Samurai 8 and just come back to Boruto and blah 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 this dumb shit.
Makes sense. Like from what I
At that
read,
point, do you
bro,
even really
like
support him? Do you support like the creator, or do you just like the story, bro? Because if you can see that he's making a series that he's been saying he's been wanting to make, and you like,
Bro,
nah, bump that, or then you don't really support the creator like that. You don't care for the creator. You just care what he gives you.
like the stuff I think the stuff that because Samurai 8 definitely was a complete like 180 from Naruto, like futuristic samurai. Um, the power system was definitely different. Robot like it was using it's using the stuff that's in like current Boruto or like something similar like that. But it's like the concept itself was actually like really dope, and the fact that it only got like 20 something chapters was honestly crazy. I'd actually love to see him continue that series. I really would,
hopefully he can make
because
a.
I
Hopefully he
because
can
I
make.
actually liked that more than Boruto. Like I wasn't really I didn't really care for Boruto at the time. So when I found out he was making Samurai 8, I was like, okay, this got my attention. I and they were promoting it too, so it was kind of weird that it didn't like do its thing.
He
But
made the decision to end that because it wasn't picking up. He actually made the decision himself.
I'm surprised to be honest with you. Like, and the thing was, like, it was still in its beginning stages.
exactly, like it's definitely could have like done something. Now I'm not gonna sit there and say it would have been like the next Naruto or nothing like that, but I definitely would have liked to see like his vision for the story he wanted to make come to life.
Cause that story honestly was new. Like, I was damn sure was like,
It was,
I wonder where
like
the
it
fuck this
was new,
gonna
it
go.
was fresh. I was just like, okay, I'm interested. I'm interested in our MC. I'm interested in the world that he's in, bro. It's like
Not everybody
didn't
was
give
interested.
didn't give that nigga the chance. Shame. But yeah, that's how my question or that's my fucking answer on that. Niggas just need to let these other these mangas thrive and let their shit like build up. Because next thing you know, niggas like they not gonna have any more people wanting to write mangas for them because they keep asking everything. So
Listen,
they just gotta be
they gonna give
cautious.
it up. They're gonna give it up to the Koreans. The Koreans already dissing y'all in they fucking manhwas. They be
There's a
making
lot of good long running series in Jump though. Uh, there's a lot of good shit that's sitting in there, man. I feel like maybe it's not too much credit going to what has been running for a long ass time.
fat.
We got a lot of those shows in there, series in there, over 100 chapters as well. Sakamoto Days going nuts, Undead Unluck, Mashal, people love that, Roboco.
I saw Sakamoto, not Sakamoto, but Undead Unluck getting an anime. I'm hyped for that.
Mission Yazakura family, they've been running for a long time. These aren't new, they got some old stuff. Chainsaw Man just came back. They got a lot.
Yeah,
So I feel like,
I'm just peeping Sakamoto days. That shit is hilarious.
yeah.
Ex hitman who turned into that. Listen, that shit is hilarious. I can honestly say that.
Yeah. Sometimes I be feeling like a lot of people don't really check out a lot of series that's in Jump right now. I don't even think they're doing anything wrong when it comes to that, honestly. There's a lot of shit in there. That shit busy.
I don't want to check out myself. I just don't got time for real.
They do be axing niggas, but niggas have been getting axed for a long time. The memes be hitting too.
Damn, man.
That's fucked too, because I was really into Red Hood. The first couple of chapters, I was like, all right, I mess with this. I mess with the concept. Then just axe. I'm like, God damn it.
Telling you, man, it's gonna get to a point that ain't nobody gonna write. And Sean Jump not gonna have nobody write nothing. They keep doing that.
You heard me, nigga. They gonna give it up to the Koreans.
The Marvel gonna take over.
It's Shonen Jump, man. They gonna be alright. People gonna go to them. People gonna do their shit with them. They got long running series. Some of these really just aren't popular, man. Like these people don't like it, they gonna kick them niggas out. They do it every time. I enjoyed Samurai 8. And what was the other shit? Yashimon that canceled a couple months ago? I thought that shit was tight. Niggas did not receive that well at all.
Bro,
Like,
the Japanese culture itself is like, their humor is different from our humor. Like, what they like is completely different from what the fuck we like. So,
Yeah, from what I've seen, they like more like in your face, like rah kind of humor. Like
that shit is, I don't know.
Shit, niggas just might move their shit from weekly to like, isn't like Shonen Jump monthly or whatever. What they call that shit?
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name though.
Because I think that was what because I think that's what the series creator for Full Metal Alchemist was doing. She wasn't in weekly Shonen Jump. She was in the monthly one, I'm assuming. So niggas just might venture over to there, and then let their series stockpile and shit, so it can actually flesh out. So it's either that, or like niggas said, or fucking Manhwa might be taking over if niggas keep flying around.
Bro, Manhwa really been on a solid come up, bro.
Facts. Oh my god. Nigga, you see what Solo Leveling did?
Yeah, bro. I had never seen that much hype for like just a regular online webcomic for like Solo Leveling, bro. God of High School was getting gassed up. Tower God was getting gassed up. Like
Omniscient Reader.
yeah, a few other ones I can't really remember the names right now, but
Nah, you know what's crazy? When niggas be gassing up Pornwell on the fucking time.
That nigga Fade, oh god, he used to do that, bro.
Bro,
That shit was hilarious.
FaZe started that shit and niggas went in his fucking footsteps.
That nigga was doing that, bro. I'm just like, bro, what
That nigga was on the timeline reading Sexercise and Silent War.
reason what?
In broad daylight.
Broad day.
I'm like, my nigga, it is
it is
3
like,
p.m. What are you doing?
Yeah. Like, FaZe, what you doing? He like, hey man, that shit pee.
He's like, that shit heat. That nigga Fade's comedy, bro.
I'm gonna get that nigga come on here one day, bro. That nigga FaZe so fucking funny, bro.
That nigga's hilarious. Broad daylight, didn't care. But yeah, that's about it, bro. So that's my final remarks.
Final remarks.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
So we finna
I
wrap.
think I said it, man. Just I feel like it's going in a good direction as far as the ones that haven't been axed yet. As far as like the new ones, I feel like they got that. At least for the ones that I've been able to check out, I've really been meaning to check out that one that Edge sent, the one that they said I think was by who was it, like the Soul Eater's assistant or something like that? Oh,
Yeah.
the geek something. It started with a G.
Yeah,
It's the
I know
it's
which one
the,
you're
it's the
talking about.
Discord general chat.
Yeah, hold on. I know he lobbed it. I'm trying to find it. What was the name of it?
Scroll up a little bit. But other than
I
that,
Gachi Kuto.
Gachi-kun?
Yeah, I've been seeing Mosley gas that up too a lot on the timeline. So
Let me get
Yeah, I
that.
definitely need to get to that. But yeah,
The blog
there's a lot of other series in jump that I'm
like
trying to catch up on.
because people say that it looks like my art style kind of, which I can see it though. It does kind of look like my art style. So
But I'm finna wrap it up. I don't want to go over. Thank you for everybody who came out, supported it. Came out and support the podcast. That sounded fucking terrible. You already know Meech came through. Turtle came through.
Sir.
Karma was here just a minute ago, but he went to go be Breaking Bad and shit. Wendy came here. You know, this is my Genshin brother. We like to well on Genshin. And hey, matter of fact, Wendy,
That nigga muted.
he muted. Oh, okay, because
Yeah.
no, because
I know.
I was finna tell the nigga he could join my world and get some material.
I got that nigga maxed out, cuz he all good.
Now I gotta join your world to go to check this nigga out. But anyway,
I'm on that bitch right
Wendy, he's in the Genshin family.